Everybody is talking about what James Charles said. The clips have been reposted everywhere, the apologies keep coming, and at this point, most people have already decided whether they think he's genuinely sorry or simply trying to contain the fallout.
The video that I posted 2 weeks ago now about the Spirit Airlines situation was awful. That video was terrible, it was nasty, it was disrespectful, it was completely unnecessary. And seeing clips of it all over my For You page is embarrassing to say the least. There is no excuse for making that video, so I'm not going to sit down today and try to give you one. I fucked up, point blank period. When I initially posted that video, it was on my spam account, which for anybody that might not be familiar is basically my second page where every piece of content is me crashing out and yelling at the camera over any random topic. The videos are supposed to be relatable and funny, and I talk about things like the hantavirus cruise or parking tickets or the cost of guacamole, but nothing about that Spirit Airlines video was in line with that content at all. To be completely honest with you, don't know what I was going through that day that led to me or allowed me to be so triggered by an individual one-off message like that. And I really don't know what the hell went through my head to think it was appropriate in any way, shape, or form to make a piece of content about somebody reaching out asking for a helping hand at a vulnerable time. The intention behind that video was not to accuse anybody unemployed of being lazy, and it was also not to accuse any hardworking people of not working hard enough, but that is how the video came across, and I feel fucking terrible for contributing to those narratives. I know that when I post this video today, there will probably be comments of people saying, you know, James, you're only making this response because of the backlash, and I want you to know that is true. When I first posted this video, clearly I didn't see a problem with it. It embarrassingly did take people making videos and me getting hate comments and backlash to actually take a step back, put myself in check, and realize what I said here is not okay, and now I need to educate myself as to why. And that's what I've been working on doing over the last 2 weeks. I uploaded a video on the same spam account apologizing, and since then, a lot of people have reached back out. The original Spirit Airlines employee did end up coming forward, so I was able to send her a private apology and donate to her GoFundMe, as well as several other Spirit Airlines employees that were also affected by the bankruptcy. However, I'm well aware that an apology video and a couple of donations from my couch in LA are not enough. In the initial video, I made a comment of like, welcome to the real world, why don't you just go get another job? And I now realize that is literally just not possible. I knew that the economy and the job market weren't great, but I'm ashamed to admit my level of ignorance when it came to how bad it actually was. But now I'm definitely more in the loop because the last 2 weeks have been spent having a lot of conversations and listening to people. Whether it was...
But the more interesting part of this story isn't actually James. It's what happened after the internet had already made up its mind. Because almost immediately after the backlash exploded, Trisha Paytas entered the conversation.
Obviously, you have issues. You have deep-rooted issues, I'm sure. And you could be the most talented, which he's not. He's camp, he's whatever. No, he's a vile, disgusting human. And if you're a bad person, you're still not deserving of all your successes, but you're also you're very mid. And sometimes when he's silent, we're like, well, you know, he hasn't done anything horrible in 6 months. Maybe he's changing. No, he hasn't. He's actually still being horrible. So I hate James Charles because we forget how awful James Charles is. Like, you deserve nothing. Like, doesn't deserve any amount of wealth. You are now being a menace and destructive to, like, not just the internet, but, like, honestly, society, like the human race, really. And it's scary to watch. Truly the worst person, like a horrible human being. I'm not the karma police. I actually despise him more than any other creator. He's like an awful human being, disguising, trying to like mask as like a content creator, like literally like evil. You live in this beautiful house, you do the bare minimum, you're a nasty person, you're yelling at your fans, you're yelling at people. It's not cute. Shows himself to be actually like inhumane, like so vile and nasty. He does not deserve his platform. Calling him lazy and being like, James, you deserve nothing. The only talent you have is makeup. How you got this far is like a mind blown to us all. You deserve nothing. You deserve nothing of what you have. You're doing the absolute least. You're not contributing to society. You're not helping the internet. You're not inspiring others. You're an awful, awful person. Like, all you do is makeup and you get this beautiful house. You get all these nice things. How are you ever telling someone like they're lazy, they don't deserve like that? You give the bare minimum and people give you so much. You should be giving all your money out to people because it's like you don't deserve any of it. Get help. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. And your singing sucks. That's it.
And that created a strange dynamic that most people aren't paying attention to. Not because her criticism was shocking. In fact, that's exactly the point. It wasn't shocking at all. By the time Trisha spoke out, public opinion had already collapsed around James. The outrage was already there. The reaction videos were already spreading. The comments were already overwhelmingly negative.
James Charles issued another apology video, where a lot of the same things he said in his first apology video, he said in this one, but it comes with a twist.
I'm sorry, does James Charles think, like, the more apology videos I make, the more genuine this will come across? Because that's not how it works.
I just watched James Charles' apology video and everyone's forgiving him in the comments.
Which raises a question that completely changes how you look at the situation. If everyone already agreed James was wrong, what exactly was being risked by joining the criticism? At first glance, that sounds like a defense of James. It's not. The criticism existed for a reason. His original comments about the former Spirit Airlines employee were widely viewed as dismissive, out of touch, and unnecessarily harsh.
I just got a DM on here from a girl that said, "Good morning, James. I know you'll probably never see this, but if you could just take 1 minute to read it, would really mean a lot to me. I'm really struggling right now because Spirit Airlines just filed for bankruptcy and I have lost my job. Here's a GoFundMe link. Any donations help." I'm sure they do, sweetheart. I'm sure they do. You know what else would help you? Getting another job. Yeah, try that. Because in the time that it took you to copy and paste the same fuck-ass message to myself, who you don't follow, by the way, and probably 100 other influencers and celebrities, you could have applied for 100 other jobs, but you didn't because you're a lazy piece of shit and you're entitled. And you think that influencers and celebrities should fund your life for you. Why would I ever help you? You're not a fan. You don't even follow me. You've never supported me. This is your first time DMing. And you think that I'm going to send you money because you lost your job? Oh my God. Welcome to the real world, sweetheart. People lose their jobs every fucking day. And you're white, pretty, and able-bodied. You're in a much better position than a lot of other people out here who are trying clearly much harder to make a better life for themselves. Why would I fucking help you? Aside from that, 17,000 people lost their jobs at Spirit Airlines. Why do you think you need the GoFundMe? I can at least 1% respect the mentality of closed mouths don't get fed, doesn't hurt to try. But honestly, it does hurt to try because now you pissed me off. Okay? I'm not the one. Go find fucking Mr. Reese. This is literally his entire shtick. I'm sure the next YouTube video is literally going to be like, I rehired all 17,000 of the Spirit Airlines employees and it's going to be the real life Hunger Games. The last one of them to leave the Spirit Airlines plane gets to be the CEO of the new company and gets a house and a car and $10 million that everybody else dies. Go find that video to compete in, baby. I'm not helping you. I'm not fucking helping you. All you did was lost your job, okay? Welcome to the real world. I can at least understand if you were like, James, I'm a longtime fan. Here's a trillion years of DMs and my support for you. I love you. I'm suffering with a really rare genetic disease that there is no cure for, and I'm trying to raise money for myself and other people that have this. Maybe I would help. Maybe I would help because I love you and I appreciate you. This bitch, you lost your fucking job? What are we gonna do? Nothing! I'm gonna do nothing. You know what you need to do? Go find a fucking new one, girl. Put some effort into the workplace.
The backlash didn't appear out of nowhere. But once the internet chooses a villain, something interesting starts happening. The conversation stops being about what was said and starts becoming about who gets to respond. And that's where this story gets much more complicated, because influencer culture has quietly created something that didn't really exist years ago. Accountability itself has become a form of content. Creators don't just build audiences by entertaining people anymore. They build audiences by becoming trusted commentators on the mistakes of other creators. Think about how often this happens. A controversy breaks out. Public opinion moves in one direction. Then creators step in to explain why the person deserves criticism. Sometimes that criticism is completely justified. Sometimes it isn't. But either way, there's now social value attached to being perceived as the person who can correctly identify who is wrong. And that changes incentives. Suddenly, the question isn't just whether criticism is accurate, it's whether criticism can also function as reputation building. That's why Trisha's involvement is so fascinating. Not because she was defending James, not because she was attacking James, but because of who she is and where she sits in internet culture today compared to a few years ago. There was a time when both Trisha and James occupied very similar positions online. Both were surrounded by controversy. Both were frequently criticized. Both had reputations that made them easy targets for internet backlash. Neither was viewed as a particularly reliable source of moral authority. But look at where things stand now. When many viewers hear Trisha speak about internet drama today, they interpret her through the lens of personal growth. Whether you agree with that perception or not, it exists. A large portion of the audience believes she has changed. They believe she has matured. They believe she learned from past mistakes. James, meanwhile, is experiencing the opposite effect. His controversies are no longer being evaluated individually. They're being stacked on top of each other. Every new incident becomes evidence for an existing narrative. Every apology gets compared to previous apologies. Every explanation gets filtered through years of accumulated skepticism.
I am super sorry, especially to the woman from Spirit Airlines. First and foremost, I need to say sorry. I owe a massive apology to anybody that I've hurt or anybody that I've made uncomfortable with my actions. Hi all, James here. I owe everybody an explanation, but most importantly, I owe two important people an apology. I'm sorry for everything that is going on, everything that I've put you through over the past few weeks. As for Kayla, I am so fucking sorry that I ever got involved in this. I should have never believed his lies and manipulation. I should have never even responded back to him in the first place, and I'm sorry for hurting you. I genuinely do wish you the absolute best of luck, and I really hope that you get justice for what that man put you through.
And that's where audience psychology becomes more powerful than the actual controversy itself. Because people rarely judge public figures based solely on what just happened. They judge them based on the story they already believe. If audiences believe someone is growing, mistakes become learning experiences. If audiences believe someone never learns, mistakes become proof. The exact same event can be interpreted completely differently depending on the reputation attached to the person involved. That's why so many people seemed unwilling to give James the benefit of the doubt before hearing his explanations. The controversy wasn't entering a neutral environment. It was entering a reputation ecosystem that had already been built over years. And that creates a problem that apology videos can't easily solve. Most creators think apologies are designed to address a specific incident. In reality, audiences often use apologies to evaluate character. They're not asking, did this explanation make sense? They're asking, does this fit the person I've already decided you are? That's a much harder standard to overcome. Which brings us back to Trisha, because whether intentionally or unintentionally, her criticism highlights one of the biggest shifts happening in internet culture right now. The people who once struggled with credibility can eventually become commentators on credibility itself. And that role reversal is fascinating because it forces audiences to reveal what they actually value. Do they value consistency? Do they value growth? Do they value accountability? Or do they simply reward whichever narrative feels most convincing in the current moment? The answer isn't always obvious. What makes this situation so interesting isn't that James was criticized. Public figures get criticized every day. It's that the criticism exposed a much bigger reality about how online reputations work. Once audiences decide you've changed, they start interpreting your actions differently. Once audiences decide you haven't, they do the same thing. And at that point, every controversy becomes less about what happened and more about who people already believe you are. Which is why the real challenge facing James may not be this backlash at all. It may be the fact that every future controversy will arrive carrying the weight of every previous one. And once that cycle starts, recovering your reputation becomes less about explaining mistakes and more about convincing people to rewrite the story they've already written about you. The problem is that internet audiences rarely let go of a story once they've decided who the characters are.